but it was too little too late, I'm afraid. All the damage done in their first two group matches. And while, Liam, I can understand a certain amount of sympathy on the day for Belgium, over the course of the group, they didn't deserve to go through given the performances they've put in so far. But a lot of questions have to be asked and a lot of questions have to be answered, particularly by the manager, Roberto Martinez, because the changes he made today seem to make a significant difference.
Yes, yeah, I probably got his team selection right today. You know, Eden Hazard, he's looked totally out of it, so to be playing him was probably a mistake. He didn't have Lukaku for the first two games. I know he came on for 15 minutes in the game against Morocco, and he came on at half-time today. If you had a Lukaku fit, I think Belgium are a different outfit. Yeah. You know, the poor guy today, he missed 2 or 3 sitters. You know, that any other day he knocks them in. Yeah. They made chances. They did well, Belgium. I thought De Bruyne answered his critics.
And they defended
I was
well
one of them today. Sorry?
They defended well as well.
Much better, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. Perhaps they were a little bit overconfident against the other two teams, Peter, and it caught them out. But today they were focused, and it was a real good contest. Croatia played well too. Yeah. They had their spells. Modric was fantastic again. Yeah. Guardiola at the centre of their defence, immense. And as Ronnie said, they're going to be difficult opponents for anybody, Croatia. But it was a real good game for a 0-0. Yeah,
it was a good 0-0. And there'll be, I suppose, a certain amount of frustration for Belgian football supporters realising, well, hang on, we still can produce, so why didn't we in those first two matches?
Yeah, I think as Liam said, Ronnie mentioned in the commentary, you know, the first two games were very disappointing. They were very flat and lost them really. In them two games, they probably deserved, we'll look at the chances maybe after the break or whenever, but the chances that they had, and especially Lukaku, I mean...
I don't think they were overconfident in those first two games, Shay?
Or complacent, you might have been right, you might have been complacent. No, we're Canada, it's Morocco, we just turn up, we're ranked 2 in the world. Yeah. We'll just turn up, we'll get the result, no bother, but that's not the case. These teams are at the World Cup finals for a reason. They've all come through a qualifying campaign, they're top teams, you know, but the chance of Lukaku, I don't think it's down to match fitness, because he's in front of the goal. I don't know.
Sharpness in front of goal,
well, sharpness, but at the same time...
That reaction time that's required...
Yeah, but Peter, honestly, I'm sitting watching and I'm thinking I can nearly score myself. Not that it's that different, but this chance, I don't know, the keeper takes his hand away. I think it's Lovren takes his hand away. He's got to score. He's just got to go and head it. I don't understand. I mean, Liam mentioned me before the game, off air, on, I can't remember now, but Guardiola for Croatia, 20-year-old, it's only a matter of time before he goes to a big club. Because when someone mentions a player to you before, you really zoom in on them. And I was watching him, and he was just phenomenal at the back for them, for Croatia. They deserve to go through Croatia. Yes, maybe today they got a bit of luck with the chances.
Over the 3 games.
Over the 3 games, 100%. But maybe today got a bit of luck with the chances Lukaku missed, because you could see he was, you know, crying.
What about the one he hit the post with, Lukaku?
Hit the post.
Well.
I mean, off that
was the goal, empty goal.
Yeah, you know, that's. I don't think that's match fitness. You might mention match sharpness, but at the same time, a player of that calibre, he has to stick one of them away.
OK, what about Croatia? They're through now, and after the 4-1 win over Canada, Liam, I thought we said, all right, Croatia, they're back on it. But now, given Canada's results through the group, can we really make a proper assessment of this Croatian side yet?
Well, I said to you before the start, Peter, of the game that I felt they were lacking up front. Kramaric and Livadja, they don't seem to be fast enough, you know. They could do with a pacey player leading the line. Both of them are one-paced. Kramaric has got an eye for a goal. I think Didi says he gets regular scoring in Germany. Yeah. But that's where I think they lack. Otherwise, in defence, I think Guardiola has helped Lovren immensely. The goalkeeper looks sound. The full-backs, Baumann, Sousa and Juranovic. Midfield is probably one of the best in the competition. But the 2 guys they have up front, they just don't do it for me.
Yeah, it's been something that's been mentioned about a number of teams at this World Cup, Shay, that there's been a shortage of out-and-out number 9s. I mean, Harry Kane is a great example for England. He's an out-and-out number 9, but there aren't too many of them knocking around.
Not too many. Richarlison, you'd mentioned Brazil. Of course, the number 9 seems to come back into fashion in the Premier League, even with Haaland. Yeah. You mentioned Kane, of course.
Lewandowski, I suppose.
Lewandowski, yeah. They scraped through last night, didn't they, with I think Saudi getting the last-minute sort of goal for them. But yeah, it sort of went out of fashion, and it seems to be sort of coming back a little bit. But
what do you think of their 2 strikers?
I think Liam mentioned actually even off air before the end of the game. He says if I was looking at Croatia, he said That's what I would think. You know, they haven't got that.
That's the weak link.
The player maybe can go at a centre half or get away from a player. And that's the modern player, isn't it? Even a Haaland, he can get away from people. You know, the pace that he's got.
Okay. You know, Perisic was terrific as well. You know, you have to say today, defensively and offensively. Yeah. But it's just the two up front. That's why give me doubts about it.
Okay. Well, that was a fairly abrupt answer, but he's quite right. Straight after the match, not the moment to be answering questions like that. Difficult enough for the manager to face the media immediately, Shay. But I'm quite surprised to hear him say that there are no regrets. Surely there are regrets in terms of how he went about his team selection at this tournament.
Yeah, we spoke about it before. You know, he said, I think after the Canada game, you know, we're building into this tournament. We're going to, you know, move on and get fitness. Maybe the likes of Hazard and maybe Lukaku we've seen there. They look a bit rusty. But they have to get out of the group stage to start with for these players to come into maybe their own. But you know, Martinez, he's the second game they were very poor, and today it was the best Belgium we've seen in the 3 games. Of course it was, but it's all a bit little too late. They're out of the tournament. He's going home, and I'll be surprised if he's the manager for the Euros come March. Yeah,
it will be a surprise. And Liam, it's a little bit unfair to actually pick apart a manager's interview in the aftermath of a result like that. But another comment he passed was he conceded they weren't ready. How could you not be ready for a World Cup? It's not as if it springs on you as something of a surprise, is it?
Yeah, it was a bad expression, all right. You know, we weren't ready. You have to be ready. You know, we were playing Morocco. Maybe he meant that we were a bit overconfident, you know. We didn't turn up on the day. Because that's the only thing I can put it down to. The display today showed that they have the quality to get out of that group. But they didn't do it against Morocco. Yeah. And they were very lucky against Canada, Peter, as well, you know. So two poor performances.
Liam, I would ask you probably was the Hazard one, Eden Hazard, because I sat on the sofa for the Canada game. I can't remember, it was Kenny Cunningham said to me, like, you can't leave Hazard out because he's such a big personality. But it's shown that he'd taken off after 60 minutes in both the first 2 games. He wasn't match fit. But, you know, how do you get that balance right within the change room? Because he is such a strong character in there. Had he not have started...
The manager's got to be strong enough to leave them out, you know. That's what top managers do, you know.
So that's a wrong decision then you would look at?
Yes, yeah, I think... There's a lot of people going to point the finger at Martinez, and probably rightly so. He's a very good talker. He's a very good politician. But he's had 7 years to get a trophy out of these great players, and he hasn't done it.
No, and a lot more was expected from the so-called golden generation, which he said isn't over yet, but we'll discuss that maybe at length if we have time later on. But first of all, Liam, we have to look back at some of the chances that came their way in the second half, because they could be going through.
Oh, they created so many chances, particularly in this second half. Carrasco here, great ball from De Bruyne. He should score there. Then Lukaku's got plenty of the goal to shoot at, you know, and he hits the post with it. This ball went out of play, but it just shows you how bad Lukaku was when he did come on. Got in the positions to score all right, but he didn't even get that on target. This is another one here he doesn't react to quick enough for me, Peter. I think if that's Luka Modric, he flicks that into the net. You know, chance here. What's he trying to do? I don't understand. Maybe he thinks the defender's going to get a header on it and he's not ready.
Poor control, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to control it.
You know,
hit it.
This one here was a great sliding tackle by Guardiola. Otherwise, he probably knocks this in the net. You never know, he might have missed it. But, you know, he wasn't happy when he came off the pitch. Look, he's really frustrated because he knows he should have had at least a hat-trick.
Yeah, really disappointing performance. If he was on his game, if he had had a consecutive run of matches, if he was fully match fit, you'd imagine Shay, at least 1 or 2 would have found the back of the net.
Yeah, but I think, as Liam says, they're not like maybe half chances, or they're proper, really, really good chances. We're at the World Cup finals, weren't it? You know, like a first division game here. They are chances that most strikers in any division would put away. At least one of them. You know, maybe not all of them, but at least one of them. And that one at the end, you says, what's he doing? He doesn't have to control it. He's 2 yards out of the goal. I know the defenders...
So that's the decision-making, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got to go and hit it. Dive and hit it, whatever it takes. Break your nose, whatever it is. You get the ball across the line. It looks like, I don't know if it's a lack of confidence, a lack of match sharpness. I don't know what it is, but that's a sitter, and you don't like to see it. You see him upset at the end of the game, and rightly so. He knows, if he gets one of them chances, then Belgium in the next round.
You won't want to see them again, put it that way. I wouldn't blame him not for looking, because it was a horror show, wasn't it?
It was.
The dugout won't want to see him again either, Peter.
OK, let's talk about the Croatian chances in the second half. And credit to Thibaut Courtois, because he ensured...
Yeah, we spoke about him before. He's 100th cap tonight and made good saves. I mean, this is Kovacic with a chance. I think he tried to do him with the eyes and go in the far post. And this is, I can't get a pronunciation, Brozovic with the shot. But I think these saves are saves that I would expect Courtois to make, if I'm being honest, Peter. Yeah. And again, this is Modric, his Real Madrid teammate, with a shot. That's probably the better of the saves that Courtois had to make. But all comfortable enough, I think, these saves. As I say, a top goalkeeper, one of the best in world football, if you ask me, would make these. And again, this is a chance again for Modric. It just doesn't come down. The pressure it's a chest, and then you can't get the power on it. That's an easy save in the end for Courtois. But I think the last 15-20 minutes there was a real change in the game. They put an extra midfielder on Croatia, and they were happy to sort of see it out. We said at half time, would they be happy to do that because they can take a chance like we've seen with Lukaku, and they're out of the tournament, But they managed to see it out. I mean, we mentioned Guardiola already. What a player he is, 20 years of age, brilliant centre half for Croatia at the back, and that was a phenomenal challenge that Liam mentioned before. Brilliant.
Yeah, will be very valuable for them as this tournament goes on. OK, we talked a lot about Luka Modric in the build-up to that goal, and while he didn't create a goal, or he didn't score a goal, he came close to doing that on a number of occasions, but still his contribution, Liam, was fantastic.
A great all-round performance, defensively and offensively. He started off the game with this pass to Perisic. That was after 10 seconds. Here he is doing his defensive work, interception. But not only does he get the ball back, he starts to move off again, and some of his flicks, and what's this, outside of the foot. They've got a great understanding. Yeah. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah, he just reminds me of someone who just is playing the school playground, Peter. He's not in the World Cup finals. He just
plays with great freedom.
He's so comfortable with the ball. But Liam rightly says he gets back in his box. He does the dirty work as well, and the offensive work, and some of the stuff he does. Again, this is relatively late on in the game.
He wants to get a goal, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. And as I said to you at the start of the show, I was lucky enough to go to the Celtic Real Madrid game. And just as a fan watching, I was a Celtic fan, and I spent 10 minutes just watching Modric, and he was running around the pitch, and he's just like, he was always scanning, he was always looking, and sometimes he would just stand still to him, and he would always get the ball. It's just an awareness, and the mentality is absolutely brilliant. Some of them clips, he's a class player.
He's been the best central midfield player in the last 10 years, without any doubt. And we're going to see more of him in this competition. It's great.
Which is one of the positives about Croatia going through. Luka Modric stays in the competition. OK, let's show you exactly what happened in the other game this afternoon. Morocco have gone through, as we said, as group winners. Now, this was a pretty poor mistake by Vitoria at the heart of the Canadian defence. And it was Ziyech who caught the keeper off his line. Wonderful little finish. And that put the Moroccans 1-up. And not too long afterwards, well, 18 minutes, if that's not too long, they made it 2. And Nesri, they're getting the second goal for Morocco. There was some glimmer of hope in the second half, or in the first half, I should say, for Canada. But I'm afraid it was all too little too late. Nothing materialised for them in the second half. So 2-1 it finished to Morocco, and they go through as group winners. And there you can see now the road to the final beginning to take shape as teams take their place in the round of 16. And from today, as you can see, Croatia are through, and so too are Morocco. So that's the way it's shaping up, Liam. And I suppose from a Croatian point of view, finishing second in the group, it could be tricky because they'll face the winners from Group E, which could very well be Spain, and that'll be a real challenge for them.
I know, but I think at the start of the competition, they would have said to themselves, like, let's get out of the group. First or second, doesn't matter. It was a tough group with Belgium and with Morocco in there. So they'll be happy, and whoever it is, they're going to give... You know that they've got that dogged determination. They have a love for their country, a spirit to play for the country, and they have a great midfield. They'll give anybody a game. Now, whether they've got the quality up front to beat the likes of Spain or Germany, I don't know.
I suppose you can't underestimate the experience that's still within the squad. I think it's 9 from the squad that went to the 2018 World Cup of the 26 that are at this World Cup. So that experience within the core of the team will be important as well for Croatia.
Yeah, we're talking about the runners-up from the previous World Cup as well. And as you say, a lot of them players are still there. So that experience and the likes of Guardiola and the likes coming through as well. I mean, they've got some young talent as well. But if it comes to the latter stage, can they get as Liam says, the goals? Can they get the spark in front of the goal to cause Spain? If they come up against Spain, and it's a big ask, I think they get through. Spain look one of the real favourites for the tournament. I think they look really, really good. So it'll be a tough game if they play Spain.
I think Morocco deserve a lot of credit, Peter. You know,
Yeah,
go and
they've
beat
been the surprise package,
Belgium.
haven't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're going to beat Belgium,
Yeah.
not get beat by Croatia, win 2 games and draw the other one. Nobody expected that. So it's great to have a North African team going forward.
It certainly is, and it'll be very interesting to see who they meet because, of course, the group tonight far from decided. Even Germany could end up in second place, so that'll be a real test for Morocco. But we'll be watching those matches with interest this evening, Shay.
Well, Germany obviously not through yet either, Peter. So
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
If they went out, Belgium went out, a couple of the big nations gone out, as Martini says after. It's, you know, the best teams in the world for a reason. But it is a big shock for Belgium to not come out of that group. Morocco done brilliant, as Liam says. But I think for Belgium, looking at that group, they think, yeah, we'll definitely get 1 or 2 in the group, and it's not a good day for Belgium.
No, you feel it's the tournament that they will look back on with a lot of regret.